In this video, we're going to talk about how to heal the eyes, how to fix vision problems. And we're going to start with why myopia or astigmatism happens in the first place. The eye has these crystalline lenses that converges light rays into a point. And that point is the retina, where it's going to see the images and translate them and send them to the brain. Myopia is when the light rays go past the point of convergence before hitting the retina. So if you have your retina here, the light rays are converging in front of the retina and then continuing on until they hit the retina, and that's going to cause this blurriness, which is sort of like the images are slightly shifted. They're misaligned when they reach your eye. And that happens because the orb itself, your actual eyeball, is misshapen. So astigmatism is more of an irregular shape, and myopia it's too oblong. And usually you'll have probably both at the same time. You'll usually have astigmatism and myopia. The shape of the eye is maintained by these extraocular muscles, which control the movement of the eye. There's sort of like rope-like muscles that are around the eye, and they allow the movement of the eye. When they pull on the eye in certain ways, they can cause that de-shaping of the eye. They can cause it to lose the more spherical shape and into the more oblong or irregular shape that leads to myopia or astigmatism. Now we have to understand what sets off the eyes to do this. What sets off those extraocular muscles to be putting pressure on the eyes that cause it to lose its shape. And this answer leads us to the thyroid, which is this butterfly-shaped gland under your voice box at the bottom of your neck. This gland is the reason why you have vision problems. Now again, there could be problems with the lenses or the retina. The way that you can confirm that it's the thyroid causing eye problems is by having your eyes go in a big wide circle around. If that is painful or feels uncomfortable, that means that it's the eye shape and the extraocular muscles which have atrophied in some directions and some movements and are overstimulated in others, which is causing that pulling effect, that pressure to, over time, de-shape the eye. So in other words, if you need corrective lenses, you likely have a thyroid problem. And again, you can confirm that simply by having your eyes go in a big circle around your vision. So why is the thyroid connected to the eyes? The role of the thyroid is to tell your body how to use the energy it gets from food. The thyroid itself is activated by the sympathetic nervous system. In other words, it's a survival mechanism. It says, you're in a survival situation, we need to keep sending energy to support the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight, and it innervates every cell in your body except for your digestive system. And the thyroid is what helps that process that says, okay, we need energy for our muscles, we need energy for our brain and our eyes in order to survive in this stressful situation. Other issues related to the thyroid are thinning and brittle hair, overheating and sweating easily, so not being able to regulate your temperature. Also, mood and behavior becomes irregulated, so not feeling like you're in control of your own emotions or behavior is also a consequence of an overstimulated thyroid. Bone issues and brittle nails, and general heart palpitations and circulatory issues. That's all because of your thyroid. Other issues include insulin resistance and candida overgrowth. If you have these problems or some of these problems, and of course with myopia or astigmatism, you have a thyroid problem. That's all you need to know to understand if you have a thyroid problem, because these are the signs or the tracks. It's not to diagnose or pathologize every little thing, but they are all signs or tracks of something. Generally, that's such a negative attitude, but understanding that your body has expressions or consequences, there's chain reactions, and understanding how they all relate to which part will tell you what the issues are. Anyone with corrective lenses has a thyroid problem. Any medical professional should be able to take one look at someone or even ask a few questions like, do you sweat easily? Do you feel like you eat and never get full? Do you have problems regulating your mood? Problems sleeping? Do your bones hurt? Do your energy levels feel bad? That would be all they need to know that you should look towards the thyroid and start to assist in healing the thyroid. Other indicators of a thyroid problem is you've lost your jawline, your neck seems like fat or bloated, your face is puffy and swollen, and especially the eyes are swollen. In cases of really bad hyperthyroidism, the eyes are really like bulging. Those muscles, those extraocular muscles, are just squeezing on the eye. There's so much intraocular pressure, sinal pressure, and cranial pressure. Everything's just squeezing on everything else. And this is causing so much like bloating and swelling and retention of fluid all over the face. And this comes with a lot of different health issues. But in the topic, eye problems. In simpler terms, your metabolic and cellular rate of activity is doubled, or it's increased because of your thyroid. You're living twice in one day. The archetype of Benjamin Button is that he was born an old man. And we see so many kids wearing glasses by the age 4, and people are also hitting puberty earlier, and they're already having bone problems and other health complications, and what usually come up as lifelong chronic illnesses, they're getting by the time they're adolescents or teenagers, right? They're already old men by the time that they've even started to exist, essentially. And this archetype is because of the thyroid. Because the thyroid ages you. It's saying all your energy, we need to take all this energy and we need to survive. And so that's going to age you. You're going to be in fight or flight all the time. Or because you're in fight or flight all the time, this overstimulates the thyroid and then leads to this. You'll have more rapid hair growth, more rapid nail growth. Your bones and your skin and your muscles and your, especially the muscles of the eyes, they never have a chance to recover because they're always needing to be used. You need them to be activated to survive. And so you never go into those periods of rest. The other consequence is that the parasympathetic nervous system handles your rest and digest, which means all the food that you're eating barely gets absorbed because the energy, again, is taken from the digestive system into the rest of your body. The parasympathetic nervous system takes that energy and puts it back into your digestive system so you can digest and heal and recover from the day. Because of that, you're also not recovering in the other part of your body. So it's sort of twofold, and that issue kind of compounds. Let's take a look at this in the metaphor of a factory. It doesn't matter your diets. You could have the best diet in the world with all the right nutrients, all the right minerals, eating the highest quality food. But if the factory itself is rusty and gunked and overheating, you're not going to produce anything good. The thyroid is a sort of foreman of that factory. It's what's telling the factory the commands or the orders of the day. That's what your hormones are, those orders. That's what, like, hey, this is what we're working on today. So the foreman, the thyroid, gives those orders to the factory. It's just, you could think of it as your metabolic processes, all the energetic sort of mechanisms of your body. If your body's always in the sympathetic activation, the factory's powered on, and the foreman is going to say, okay, this is what we need to get done today, and that takes away from your ability to absorb nutrients, to digest food. It just extracts what it needs to for the moment, and that's why the quality of your skin, hair, bones, muscles, everything starts to degrade, because it's just taking the little bits that it needs to keep going. Because you're always in that survival situation, your thyroid is stimulated to maintain that, and it does so by extracting the small bits of energy it needs to keep going. So the first thing to do to slow the thyroid down and to start to heal it is to gently massage the thyroid. I know a lot of people will probably be squeamish of just touching your own neck, and especially the front of the neck, and you may think, oh, you're not allowed to do that. Like, that's bad, right? Like, you're not supposed to touch that area. To me, that is indication of a sort of, there's a sensitivity there, but there's a subconscious link to, hey, this is a problem area. I don't want to touch it, because you have this sort of mental blockage of this area because there's a physical problem here. And the way that you do that, the way that you help to resolve that, is to gently physically massage it. What this does is it stops the sympathetic activation of the thyroid, because we have pressure receptors under our skin under all of the skin of the entire body that activates the parasympathetic nervous system when you interact with those pressure receptors. They send signals to, hey, we're relaxing now. That's what they're there for. In terms of the factory metaphor, it's like shutting off the factory and saying, hey, now we're going to do repairs. We're going to clean out the rust. We're going to clean out the gunk and allow for proper recovery. Right? If you have the factory running 24/7, you can imagine the consequences that slowly start to occur. The first order is to massage the thyroid. Other things to support the thyroid is iodine, or sometimes you'll see it called potassium iodide, which is just potassium and iodine. That is an essential mineral for the thyroid to properly function. But again, you'll have trouble even getting that mineral if you don't first physically calm it down. Sunlight is also important for the thyroid. The two other big related systems of the thyroid, other than the sympathetic system, is your pituitary gland and your liver. So once again, especially for the stomach, it needs to also be massaged. Your liver, your aorta, your stomach, just your entire abdomen needs to be physically massaged, needs to be vitalized, to have the blood flow again, to put it into its parasympathetic state so your body knows that it's time to rest and digest. In terms of getting rid of all the intraocular pressure, all this accumulated metabolic waste and cellular waste, is massaging the occipital bone, back of the neck, behind the ears, the sides of the neck, is to get it all to drain out. And once you've reduced or calmed the thyroid, your body is able to then go into the recovery mode where it starts to actually repair and clean up all those things. Assisting it in these pathways are very important. So if we want to fix the eyes, to get back on topic, you need to reduce that muscle tension of the extraocular muscles, as well as the pressure of the sinuses, pressure around the interocular pressure and intracranial pressure. By draining and deflating all of that swelling and puffiness, is you're able to calm those muscles down so they're not putting more pressure on the eye to deshape it. There's another part of this problem, which is it is the thyroid being overstimulated, but it's also the way in which we're using our muscles. And because of our lifestyles, our postures are slowly making us, where the back of our muscles are slowly making us more rounded and hunched, and it's causing an overstretching of back muscles. If we think about our body in the front and back half, the back muscles are kind of wrapping around the front of the muscles, which is like rounded shoulders, your head or neck being tilted forward. The way that you help with that is you need to relax the overstimulated muscles, and then you need to stretch the understimulated muscles. So the chest, the inner arm, stretching above your head, and of course stretching the neck in the front, while also reducing the strain by massaging areas around your back. Rolling your shoulders throughout the day and just doing different movements to help stimulate blood flow, because it's hard for the body to work when the veins, the highways around your body, are physically being constricted or physically being pulled in different directions. It's hard to get resources and nutrients through that. It's kind of like running on a sprained ankle. You need to physically set it right first before you start to work it out again. So you want to physically get things back in alignment. And it starts with the thyroid, and then it starts with just physically stretching and getting the muscles to relax in the proper ways. When you do have this metabolic waste and fluid retention and lymphatic retention all over your body, you're going to have microorganisms occupy that niche, which is mainly going to be things like candida and other sorts of infections. And they're going to form biofilms, which is essentially like a force field in which they create a sort of community and a barrier against anything that could damage them. Right? It's like they're creating shelter and anchoring themselves onto different areas of your body. And this is the sort of gumminess or junk. It's kind of like your body's just filled with this sort of mucus mold all over your body. That's basically what candida is. There's almost nothing that will ever kill candida or get rid of it, except for maybe some extreme diets or extreme supplements, and those are usually do more harm than good. The way that you get rid of that is by removing the environmental niche that they live on. So when you do start to deflate and drain out all this excess fluid, there's less conditions for the candida to live. And then when your body's in a recovery state, it'll be able to start cleaning up itself, which could be a lot of mucus and other gunk just kind of draining out of your body and being purged from your body. And instead, manually scrape off all of the layers of grime that your body has accumulated. And it won't be able to do that until you've fixed the thyroid, because it's always in this sympathetic activation. It's always trying to send more and more energy to keep you alive, to keep you functioning in these survival states, which means you're always putting new products into the factory. You're always using the factory, which means the factory never has an opportunity to cool off and for the cleanup crew to come in and for the workers to take a break and all of that. So when your thyroid and the rest of your body is starting to heal, the next step is to reshape the eye. For some people, I imagine just fixing the thyroid alone is going to take enough of the pressure off. And if their eyes aren't deformed too much, it'll probably go back to normal. In other cases, you're going to have to rebuild that shape. And this is going to come from using the muscles in dynamic ways. You need to dart your eyes side to side, up and down, go in big circles, focus on something close, focus on something far, and use those extraocular muscles in dynamic ways in order to restore muscle in ways that they haven't been used, in ways that they've been overstimulated in some directions and understimulated in others. It's kind of like if you only worked out your biceps, you're going to have too much pressure and tension in one area of your body, and then the rest is neglected. The same thing's happening with your eyes because it's shaped by your muscles. It's just like anything else in our lifestyle. We have to supplement exercise because we're not doing daily work that makes us activate all those same muscles, so we go to the gym or go on jogs. Our eyes are mainly accumulated to liminal spaces. We're in passageways and tunnels from school to your house to driving, alleyways, roads. Everything is very tunnel vision. We're always in these liminal spaces. Reading, being on your phone, it's very much just your eyes are set straight and that's all you need to see because those are the only environments. There's nothing to look to your left and right, to up and down. There's nothing to stimulate other movements of your muscles. So we have to exercise them in those different ways throughout the day in order to start to repair the functioning of the muscles and get that shape back to being more of an orb, so those light rays hit the retina in the proper timing, the proper convergence. Ideally, we should have open spaces. You should be able to see the horizon. We need open spaces rather than liminal spaces for proper eye development growing up. We need to take in things bigger than us in order for our eyes to develop properly. So the muscles are being overstimulated because of the thyroid, and they're being overstimulated in a way that tends to just have your eyes looking straight, which means the muscle that controls that just is pulling and putting pressure on your eye until it loses its shape and your vision starts to go blurry. You also want to do eye exercises that involve simply going in circles, clockwise and counterclockwise, in order to get the eye to reform into an orb. Because you're rotating it in a circle, this is causing a motion which, because the fluid of the eye is viscous, it causes energy to transfer towards the center, which means that it's slowly rounding itself. When you have a rotating viscous fluid, it slowly shapes itself into a more round form. And so exercising your eyes like that can help to put the eye back into an orb shape. And also it's kind of like rolling dough, right? You can get it back into a spherical shape simply by physically moving it in round movements. I think the most frustrating thing is any medical professional should be able to take one look at someone and know if they have a thyroid problem. You can see just based off of the puffiness, based off if they need contact lenses or glasses, based off of all these other physiological indicators that says hey, you have a thyroid problem. Now, the ultimate source of that could be pituitary gland, could be the liver, could be trauma experiences, being in fight or flight too much, or simple mineral deficiency. And that's the part that a doctor should be able to figure out. Rather than searching for symptoms in isolation and then addressing those, should be able to get to the bottom of what the actual source is and what's causing the actual source. I don't think I've ever heard once in the medical industry anyone use the word heal. They say recover, they say treat, they say reduce the chances of. You go to an eye doctor and they never claim to heal your eyes. They only give you corrective lenses. They could fix your vision artificially, which is a clever solution. It's because the light rays are hitting the eye wrong, you add another lens so that when they hit your lens, then they refract properly. It's a clever solution, but it should only be seen as a short-term one. Saying, hey, we're going to heal your eyes, but in the meantime, you can have glasses in order to still see properly until we get to that point where your eyes are fixed. Maybe this is the most important part of the conversation, but if we continue the archetype of Benjamin Button, we see that the first half of his life is spent being old and decrepit and sickly. The second half of his life is that he reaches his youthful years. He's healthy and energetic the later he goes in life. If you've spent your whole life being an old man, the second half of your life is going to be spent feeling good and feeling young and youthful and vitalized. The trick, though, is you have to heal at some points in order for that. The amazing thing about organisms, about life, is that when it survives and heals, it comes back far stronger. People that have gone through the worst atrocities, like the Holocaust, for example, the survivors of that and those who are able to actually heal, they lived longer and healthier than anyone else in that time period or that demographic for the ones who are able to heal. And the same is true for anyone that goes through intense survival situations. Being able to heal, you're stronger. You also have your priorities and you're understanding what's important in life. You've survived and you're better for it if you're able to heal and recover. We have this mindset that, hey, you have all these health issues and you're only going to get more as you get older and your body's just going to fall apart until you die. If that were the case, life would have died out hundreds of millions of years ago, but it's because that any recovery it makes, it is stronger than it was before, and it's stronger than those who didn't go through that. Right, the deer that is able to survive the attack from the tiger and able to recover is faster, stronger, smarter, and healthier and lives longer than the other deer who never had to encounter the tiger. Pretty much no matter what you're going through in life, learning the tracks and the science that lead you to the source of the problem and being able to heal that source, you're going to recover and be much healthier. You're going to feel better. You're going to be smarter. You're going to be better looking. You're going to just feel better. You're going to feel more youthful. And it's that archetype of Benjamin Button. And this archetype is sourced in the thyroid, which is you're aging twice as fast because you need to survive. And this is causing all the metabolic processes to double time. Maturing faster, hair growth, nail growth, but it's in a way where it's more brittle. It's just taking the bare bones nutrients and supplying that as energy. And so the result of that is a loss in quality, but you're getting more quantity. And when you're able to heal the thyroid and recover, and your entire body begins to heal, you'll make a recovery in which you'll be stronger and healthier than those who didn't go through that. No one should die of these modern illnesses, of these like chronic immune system issues, these chronic hormone issues. People should only die surrounded by the bodies of their slain enemies. So massage the thyroid, massage your liver and other internal organs, massage the occipital bone, the back of your neck, shoulders, get the blood flowing properly, stretch properly, realign your musculature, and supply yourself with iodine and sunlight and plenty of water. Clean up the factory, let it recover, let it cool off, repair the mitochondria because you have low energy, you don't feel like you have any energy. It's because your mitochondria has been overused because of your sympathetic activation of the thyroid, which is saying, hey, we need to use all this energy in order to survive. That's going to drain you out. And it's not just on a day-to-day basis. It takes time to rebuild mitochondria, and that'll help to restore your energy levels when you're able to do that. Also, clearing out cellular and metabolic waste and all the gunk and candida and biofilms and mucus and all that pressure and fluid buildup, being able to clean all that up, then you can start to properly exercise your muscles and work out and able to breathe better, supply yourself with nutrients better, all that kind of stuff starts to line up. The first point is massaging the thyroid. And it's one of those things where the answer or the solution is so obvious, but if you don't know that that's what you're looking for, you think, okay, you have to be diagnosed with hyperthyroidism with some series of expensive tests. The tests or the signs are all in the slow generation and buildup of issues around your body. If you're insulin resistant, if you can't gain weight, if you can't lose weight, if you never feel full from eating, if you're always hungry or craving sugar, those are all thyroid problems or related to thyroid problems. Whether or not it's the true cause, being able to calm and heal the thyroid is going to go a long way into that, and then further supporting it through iodine and helping the pituitary gland, helping the liver, and sunlight and all that kind of stuff. Just because you were born with health problems or have felt like an old man your entire life doesn't mean it's always going to be like that. You can heal, and the Archetype of Benjamin Button tells us that you'll have all your best years ahead of you, and most people never figure out how to prioritize in their life. They never figure out what's important in life, and they're left wandering in the dark. People who have survived or been in survival situations their whole life, even if it's only because their body's just betraying them or just all the factors of society that has caused these amount of health problems, doesn't mean it's always going to be like that. And you can heal and recover better. You'll have so much more understanding and skills and knowledge of things, as well as being healthy for a longer period of time. You may look older when you're younger, but you'll look younger when you're older. I hope that this video helps or helps make sense of things. Thanks for watching.